Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Throw Like a Girl Radio here on WBCR's first all-female sports talk show every Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. I'm Alyssa Paolicelli.
And I'm KaraAnne Galante.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. That was our intro for, a little Irish flair to the show today in honor of the green holiday.
Yes.
Recognize that from anywhere, Kara?
Maybe I do. Daniel Murphy.
Daniel Murphy's walk-up song. We hear it. Hopefully he'll change it up because it's been that for the past, 3 years. So
yeah, I'm getting
every
sick of
day
it.
over the summer when the Mets are home, we hear that.
Yes.
So yeah, like we said, another great week for Throw Like a Girl Radio. Thank you again for your continued support and for tuning into our show. Myself and Kara are here with you for the next hour. You can listen to us in a number of different ways. First, by going to mywbcr.com or downloading the TuneIn Radio app and searching Brooklyn College Radio. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media accounts, facebook.com/throwlikeagirlradio, Twitter @throwlikeagirl, and Instagram throwlikeagirlradio. No spaces. You just heard our intern Samantha Rodriguez, and she will be doing the news, and she'll be live tweeting our show.
Well, we've got a mixed show today. We've got some great news, and we have some bad news for New York sports fans. If you guys would like to join in on our conversation, the number is 718-951-4444. Don't forget that is the number you can always call in and join our conversation at any point during the hour. The number is 718-951-4444.
So that's one of the bigger things that happened actually this weekend and yesterday. Zach Wheeler, one of the three main pitchers that everyone's excited about in the Mets rotation. Yeah, he is. I couldn't think of the name starter. I don't know why.
I know, it's a brain fart sometimes. So
yesterday morning, I walk into my class with Kara and I say, "Oh my God, Wheeler has a torn UCL. This stinks. Like, what are we gonna do?"
Yeah.
So that is actually the second pitcher in the past 48 hours that the Mets have announced to need Tommy John surgery. The first one being Josh Edgin, the left-handed pitcher, who the Mets need a left-handed pitcher desperately. But
yeah, he's one of our top relievers.
Yeah.
He is.
And just you like to have a left-handed pitcher in the lineup just to switch things up a little bit. But now we're down two of those. And last week, Kara was saying that she was nervous about all the injuries. And I was like, no. Like, we're going to be fine. The pitching is going to save us. And look what happened.
Yes. I wasn't jinxing anybody. I'm not a jinx. I'm just saying.
I think you are. No.
But you know what got me very annoyed with the Zach Wheeler getting Tommy John surgery is that he went to the doctors 2 times during the offseason, and they didn't see any ligament tear. And he took an MRI twice during the offseason, and they still didn't see anything. So why all of a sudden now, let's just go for Tommy John surgery after, 2 tries of going to a doctor? That's what frustrated me the most out of this whole thing.
I think that a lot of Mets fans are feeling the same way because it seems as if they had known that this is going to be a potential problem in the future. But the thing with me is I just actually got an update before the show saying how Sandy Alderson is firmly standing by the Mets' stance of, proceeding with caution with Wheeler as the rest of the season progressed.
He always does. But
to me, if you knew that this was a potential problem, and the doctors had forewarned to say it could be a possibility that this ligament is it's a ligament.
It's a ligament.
It's a ligament that gets replaced with the tendon during surgery.
Yeah, too much medical terms over here.
But they were prepared to limit his innings and all this stuff to take the necessary precautions so that it wouldn't eventually tear. Yeah. However, if you knew this, if he had some type of discomfort last season, why would you not start the process earlier in order to have him back as soon as possible while you have the return of Matt Harvey, while you have Jacob deGrom in his prime, while you originally had the notion that you wanted Josh Edgin. So, that's what I don't understand. He's coming off a pretty good season. Yeah. That's the most frustrating part. And I think
the whole offseason, you had so much time, and you knew there was a problem the whole offseason. You went to the doctors 2 times. Why start now? That's my big question. Why start right before the season? You could have had the surgery beforehand and maybe come back towards the end of the season instead of being out 1 full season, because we kind of need Zach Wheeler. He's been playing pretty well. He had a 500 season last season. He went 11-11. He led actually the Mets in strikeouts too with 271. Yes. So he's a pretty good pitcher. It's just the Mets, the product on the field isn't what we wanted in the past couple years, but his pitching has been on point.
And I think that this is also a bigger morale hit for Mets fans as opposed to the actual implications on the field, because when he got pulled up, everyone was like, this is the next guy from he's the next coming of Tom Seaver. This is the guy who's going to get the job
so
done.
So much publicity.
Even in the stadium, you can tell people were buying his shirts right away. The baseballs with his jersey on it, they were selling so quick when he just got up and hadn't even done anything here.
Yeah.
So I think that with all the excitement and the anticipation coming into the 2015 New York Mets season, this is just like, we can't catch a break.
I know, with playoff promises too. I'm like, Sandy, now what are we gonna do? I know now Dylan G is probably relieved because he's thinking, yes, I'm not on the training block anymore. Now I could actually relax and be a starter. Because of this injury, Terry Collins' like, Dylan G is definitely going to be in the starting rotation now.
Right, because he was, after the return of Harvey, he was going to be brought into the bullpen to come in as some type of reliever.
Yeah,
the
Mets
closer.
usually do that all the time.
Right, and actually there was I guess he made a statement today with probably before the game, their game today, and he said this is not how he wanted to earn his position.
Yeah.
But I think that, which obviously as a person who comes off a season with being in the rotation, you don't want your position to be taken away from you.
I know, inside he's probably jumping for joy, but publicly he's like,
right.
This is my team. I wouldn't want this bad thing to happen to Zach Wheeler. But he has been playing well. His record was 7-8 last season with a 4.0 ERA in 22 games.
And he's been getting paid $5.3 million, and
wow.
He might as well get the work in. You know what I mean? He's only 28 years old. He just has to step up to the plate and hope. And you know what? Zach Wheeler, he was one of those, like you said, he had a 500 season last season. He's not always reliable. When he's on, he's on. When he's off,
yeah, but plus the Mets offense hasn't really backed him up that much. Like, so, he has the numbers, like leading the team in strikeouts and things like that, but it's just not going right for us Met fans. I'm so sorry.
So hopefully
I can't.
Dylan G will be able to step up and fulfill the role that he is, needing to fix. But
yeah, and we also have some comments actually from Curtis Granderson and Matt Harvey on the Wheeler situation. So here is some of their comments.
Anytime you have a guy go down, it's always going to be something that a team has to consider and have pieces in place to go ahead and hopefully replace that. But that's what spring training is all about. That's what this organization is all about. We got a lot of great arms, a lot of great position players. So in the event that a player does happen to go down, spring training gives you a position to put people in that spot to see who can hopefully take over.
How bad do you feel for him?
Definitely. Like I say, you never want anyone to get injured. It's one of those things that ends up happening. It's a part of the game, but no matter how many times you go through it, anytime someone gets injured, it's obviously a rough day.
Obviously it's a big blow to us having to have Zach down, but Dylan G's won a lot of games, and he can step in and whatever they decide with Syndergaard and Matt and those guys, that's up to them. So I think we've got enough experience, and we can hold our own.
You just heard from Matt Harvey at the last clip. And one thing interesting that he brought up, which is a lot of Mets fans are throwing around, is the possible bringing up of Syndergaard, Matz, Montanaro, all these highly anticipated pitching prospects.
That's not going to happen, though.
I don't think so either.
That's not happening
Why do you think it's not going to happen?
They're not ready. And also, there was another thing going around that if they were to open this season, that they would have to enter free agency earlier in the 2020 season. So they have to enter free agency after the 2020 season instead of waiting longer.
Right, and delaying them from being brought up to the majors.
Yeah.
They would have to. The Mets ownership over them. Exactly, so they secure them for longer.
Yeah, they're trying to secure their youth, their pitching. So if they were to come up to the majors, then the free agency would be earlier than it was expected to be. So it is good that we're securing our youth. We need to do that.
But I don't know. I think that if I was an athlete, I would push for some type of rule making against that, because that's not fair. If a player's ready to move up, like Syndergaard, everyone says he's more than ready. And pushing and keeping him down and playing at a level that he's surpassed may be negative towards his development.
Yeah, but that's in his contract though.
To stay down?
I think it's in his contract for the free agency. Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean,
you can't change that.
But I would be upset if I was Syndergaard or Matz, these players who are capable of playing at the major league level.
Yeah.
If I had to stay down because a team didn't want to make me eligible for free agency earlier. I understand where the Mets are coming from, because it's a business move, and it, like we always say, it comes down to the bottom line of everything.
Money, money, money.
Exactly. But I don't know. I think that maybe that's something the players' union needs to address somehow.
Maybe.
But
I don't know. It's just with the Mets, we've been through so many pitchers who had Tommy John surgery, and there's new. I didn't say last week. Jeremy Mejia went through it. Even Steven Matz went through Tommy John surgery too.
Jeremy Hefner has had it twice. He was a rare case where it was unsuccessful the first time. So at least the one positive thing about that, I guess, to find the silver lining in it, is that there is a lot of experience with this, so maybe they can help him, give him even more practice to bounce back things that work, things that didn't work. So
yeah, that would be our luck though with the Mets with Tommy John, and having a pitcher having it twice because it didn't work. I think it might say something about the doctors.
I think I heard a statistic yesterday from Dave Rothenberg, who's very upset, from ESPN New York, who was very upset about this news about Zach Wheeler.
Yeah, I'm upset too.
I think he said that have been 8 pitchers since the 2013 season who have been under Mets contracts who have had Tommy John surgery, which is absurd. Like, that is so many.
That is absurd.
That is half of a bullpen there.
It's giving me a headache right now just thinking about it. Oh, the Mets, we need help. I think us Met fans need help. But
I think it'll be fine. I honestly think it's more of a, like I said before, more of a morale blow than anything else.
No, it is. We're like, new season, start up new, New York Mets, we got this, and now it just puts a dent into my hopes for the Mets season. A little bit of a damper on the... Just a little bit. But Matt Harvey, actually, he played yesterday, and he pitched shutout innings for the Mets. The Dark Knight is back.
He did. He just keeps on impressing everyone back. Because everyone said... There's a lot of rumors, even though it's not actually proven, that when you come back from Tommy John surgery, you have more stability in your arm, you have more power because you're replacing a ligament with the tendon, and I believe...
Yeah, but you should have more stability in
I think it's because, like, a tendon... And maybe I'm not a science major, so I'm not exactly sure, but I believe that a tendon is more, I guess, sturdier, has more flexibility than your ligament. Maybe it's just stronger in general, so that's why they feel like they have more power behind their ball. And that's like kind of what I alluded to last week. A lot of kids who play Little League who want to play in college, they go to surgeons and ask to perform the surgery before so that they can just become that much better while they're involved in the recruiting process. But it's never proven. There's no actual correlation between the two. But it's interesting to see how he's tapping out at 98 miles per hour. His fastball seems like it was been untouched, actually. So
yeah, he's been pitching pretty great with his starts. And also today, Jacob deGrom started, and he also pitched shutout innings too for the Mets. So we got two people. It's the flow. I think don't cut your hair, Jacob deGrom. If you're listening, please don't cut your hair. I think that flow is working for him. And also we have comments from Sandy Alderson about Zach Wheeler being diagnosed with the torn ACL. So here they are too.
Zach was seen at the end of last season. He was seen in November, and he was seen in January. We had been forewarned by the doctors that his elbow was a concern and that it was going to have to be managed over the course of this season. Wasn't clear that the ligament was involved at that time, but we understood that we were going to have to manage his medical condition over the course of the season. So when he complained of the elbow pain, it wasn't a surprise to us. I think what prompted the MRI on Saturday was the fact that Zach had complained about the elbow in the past, but the area of pain had increased in size, and that's when the MRI was ordered on Saturday and was read this morning by Dr. Alchek in New York. Our release, indicates that it's a preliminary diagnosis, but I think it's only preliminary in the sense that Dr. Alchek has not actually met with Zach and examined him clinically. It's the diagnosis is predicated on the MRI, but according to Dr. Alchek, it's pretty clear-cut that he has this problem. So he will be traveling to New York probably today or tomorrow for that confirmation. But at this point, it was the diagnosis is based on the MRI. It's a blow, but at the same time, we knew it was going to be there would be a lot of uncertainty surrounding Zach and his elbow over the course of the season. We're obviously not happy he won't be with us, but I think if there's a silver lining is that we now have some certainty, and we know that we have a solution for this, and he won't have to manage the kind of pain that I think he had to manage over the course of last season, and ultimately, doing that over a career is just simply unsustainable. Although we're really unhappy that we're not going to have in this season. In some ways, this will maybe long term very beneficial to Zach and to the Mets as well.
All right, so Throw Like a Girl Radio with Alyssa Paolicelli and myself, KaraAnne Galante, is back. We are.
We had a little lesson in Kara saying my last name before, and so she was getting nervous and saying it. She did it right this time, though, so that's good.
So we are with you guys until 5 p.m., and if you want to join our conversation, please call 718-951-4444. So, also, more in baseball news. Now, do you guys remember a baseball player named Pete Rose? Well, he is requested to be reinstated into the MLB and that his ban be lifted from Major League Baseball. And some background information, he got banned because he was gambling on the sport.
Boo.
And he wants to put his name on the Hall of Fame ballot because he is deserving of that. So what do you think? Do you think he should be reinstated back into the MLB?
It's a tough decision because I actually saw a tweet today that said MLB stop playing God and just play baseball, and it was kind of alluding to the Pete Rose thing, how just because he was gambling, does that make him a bad person? Everyone gambles. No, but honestly, he broke a rule, so you shouldn't be. I don't know. I just think that if you can't sustain yourself from doing something that is clearly said in your contract with the league, do not do this. You made a ton of money off of it. Just don't do it. Why do you need to be betting on a game?
Well, I totally disagree on you with that. With my opinion on this is he was gambling on his own team when he was the manager of the team too. But I know it's a wrong thing to gamble, but it doesn't affect how he played the game. He didn't enhance how he played. He wasn't taking steroids. He wasn't taking drugs to be a better player. It's not affecting him as a player. As a person, it's bad. He was a gambler. But as a player, I feel like he should be on the Hall of Fame ballot because he did he was the best hitter in baseball. He did break many records. And it has nothing to do with him as a player. Because, why is Barry Bonds on the Hall of Fame ballot and Roger Clemens? They're the ones who took steroids to enhance their performance, and Pete Rose can't be on that ballot.
But I think that baseball is trying to make this new stance that if you do incorporate yourself into these scandals that are clearly said not to do, then you're opening up a door for people to have the same type of case. So if they do this for Pete Rose, he won't be on the Hall of Fame ballot. It gives A-Rod, which is obviously a totally different situation because you're right, it did enhance A-Rod's game.
Yeah, it did.
But at the same point, he still has an argument. He still broke the rule. I broke the rule. Just because I broke a different rule doesn't make a difference. I just think that obviously this is the same argument the NFL has. If you are not a good person off the field, you should not be involved in being honored in some type of way. That is I know it's a very strong opinion.
But
a lot of people don't agree with it.
But that's when he wasn't a player, though. He gambled.
But he was still involved in the game. Being a manager is almost as important as being a player.
But it didn't really help at all.
But
honestly,
you don't
see
still
the Cincinnati
conflict.
Reds winning a World Series because of his gambling. I don't think he even made an effect on the MLB at all.
I still think there's a huge conflict of interest there because even if you are betting for your team, you go about the game a lot differently.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think he should be on the Hall of Fame ballot. He's deserving of it. He's an awesome player, and I think he paid his dues so many years. Just put him on the ballot. I think he deserves it. I think that ban should be lifted. That's my opinion on this situation. If anyone else wants to have an opinion, call in.
718-951-4444.
If you want to challenge me, challenge Alyssa, come on, call in and hear your opinion.
I don't know. I just think that there needs to be, you need to behave the same way on the field as you would off the field if you want to be held to the highest acclamation in your sport. That's how I feel. But quickly switching gears because I can't not go without mentioning this. Okay. We talked about A-Rod a little bit. He hit his first home run during spring training sometime last week.
Yes.
And I thought it was hilarious because the Yankees did not acknowledge it in any type of way on their social media. This is going to be kind of weird to see happen throughout the season because if he does have a successful season, the Yankees can't ignore that the whole time. So it should be interesting to see how their PR department decides to handle that whole situation.
Yeah, because the Yankees apparently, they were like, oh, we forgive you. You're part of the team now, but you're technically not a part of the team because you didn't acknowledge anything. So I think there's still a little hostility behind closed doors.
I think there always will be until he's out the door. And
I'll just retire.
They no longer owe him millions of dollars.
I know. He's 38 years old. Make an agreement or something. Just give him. You have the money, Yankees. You're like $1 billion organization. Just give him something. Get him out of the league if it's going to cause hostility.
That signals our NFL segment.
Woo! Does that song sound familiar to anybody?
So this week was a big week in free agency.
Yes, crazy
especially
week.
if you're a Jets fan. A little sad, I guess, if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan like Kara. So, like we said, we had some good news for New York sportsmen and some bad news. The bad news being about Zach Wheeler. The good news being Darrelle Revis and Antonio Cromartie are back in New York. The dynamic duo are here to stay for a little while at least. Revis Island has relocated from Pittsburgh. Finally. I remember I have a lot of friends who are big Jets fans and big Revis fans when he was in New York, all taped over the back of their jerseys saying traitor, things like that. And now they got to rip that tape off. Exactly. So if anything we learned from LeBron, you got to keep the jerseys because they always come back.
Oh, they do.
But
you don't want to waste your money.
Exactly. So the Revis signing, it seemed to be not only a way to make the team better, but now has instilled some type of trust within the management from the fans, considering coming off of a very strange 2 years with Idzik and that whole management system.
Yeah.
But the one thing that this now makes Revis one of the highest paid players in his positions. But I think it's a good.
But how much did they sign him? 5 years, $70 million?
Something like
Whoa,
that. Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot. But I think he has the option to opt out after a certain amount of time to become a free agent again. So there is still that. I might be getting my teams confused, but I'm pretty sure that that's part of his contract. But this also is not only a great pickup for the Jets, but they also took away a big weapon from New England. So that works both favors because Buffalo got considerably better with the pickup of McCoy in this offseason, which Oh wait, she's not an Eagles fan, so it doesn't matter to her. But
the
now
Eagles
the
went
Eagles
insane this free agency though. They gave away most of their team.
Yeah, that's a whole other issue we'll tackle when we talk about Murray.
Yeah, please don't remind me. I don't want to talk about this,
but after the Revis signing, it seemed to be some type of a snowball effect that was leading to the signing of Cromartie and. So I think Revis called him up shortly after because those two are good friends. Revis loves New York. Cromartie loves New York.
Who wouldn't love New York?
So I think that, everyone's saying that the Jets overpaid and, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's gotten the fan base something to be excited about for the first time in a long time.
Yeah,
so
still some hope in those
exactly.
Jets fans.
And for all you Giants fans out there, please stop telling us that we don't have anyone to throw them the ball because we're gonna pick up Mariota in the draft. So we'll fix that problem. So relax there, okay?
Whoa, this is getting a little feisty.
Because you don't understand. I don't understand why people get so upset when another team. The only team I think that's justified for this is me being 100% biased is when something happens to the Yankees, and as Mets fans, I think you're allowed to boast about it just because of all the the long enduring losing seasons
we've suffered so many years, so we deserve a little bit.
But a Giants fan, you guys won 2 Super Bowls with your quarterback. You've been for the Kara, you should be backing me up on this as a Dallas fan.
I am backing you up. Like, I've never seen the side of Alyssa before. She's like really going at it.
I just don't understand why everyone. I tweeted, and I'm pretty sure I was. I wasn't, but I've convinced myself that I was the first person to break the news about Revis because I was the first person in my timeline that I saw had tweeted that Revis was going back to New York.
She started this.
So I'm giving myself the credit for starting this whole snowball effect with the Giants.
You're welcome, New York Jets Nation. You're welcome.
So yeah, but I just got so many tweets back, and everyone was like, "You still don't have anyone to throw the ball. What is Gino going to do the job?" I'm like, "No, Mariota's going to do it because we're going to draft him, and it'll be great. We're going to have a great season." And now I'm just hoping for the Jets to finish with a better record than the Giants.
Yes,
that's the goal for the end of the
Jets.
year.
Jets, you are my AFC team, but my NFC team, my boys, my Dallas Cowboys. DeMarco Murray is no longer with us. Can we have a moment of silence, please? No, I think Jerry Jones made the right decision.
Do you?
He wanted so much money, and I think we couldn't really afford that.
But I think that as
he won't overpay. Like
he
Jerry
went to
Jones
the Eagles though. That was purely
that was a slap in my
slap
face.
to the Jones family.
No, that was and you know what he said, which I thought was so. Every single athlete says that he has a chance of winning a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what he said in his press conference. I'm looking at him. The Cowboys were 12-4 last year. You were 2 games away to going into the Super Bowl, and you're saying that the Philadelphia Eagles have a better chance of getting into the Super Bowl than the Dallas Cowboys,
who have the best offensive line.
Yes, I don't know what PR person is telling you to say these things, and also Dallas Cowboy fans. I feel you guys were burning your jerseys, DeMarco Murray jerseys, and maybe that was the reason why he had to say that and just put a little sting in the Cowboys fans. But I'm very annoyed with what he did. He signed a 5-year contract, $42 million, and he's been with the Cowboys for 4 years, and this was the first year he won the rushing yards title. He won. He played pretty well, but this was his first year, so it doesn't guarantee you like millions and millions of dollars.
And I think the whole Chip Kelly saga for this offseason has been very hard for analysts to figure out because, you know, there have been rumors around that he's somewhat prejudiced and things like that, but
Yeah.
that move actually makes sense. That's like the DeMarco Murray pickup is the one thing that makes kind of justifies all the other moves that he's made thus far.
Yeah, and plus we have a great offensive line, but we use a running game all the time. And because Tony Romo, he's getting old. What is he, 32 years old? He has back problems, and our running game brought us into the playoffs. And DeMarco Murray, he was a major part of it. I'm going to give him credit for that. He had an amazing season, but we signed Darren McFadden, who was supposed to, people are saying replace DeMarco Murray, which I don't know what drugs you guys are taking or anything like that, because I don't know why you guys are thinking that Darren McFadden, who played his first 16-game season without injury for the first time in 7 seasons, that's crazy. And people are thinking, oh, he's going to replace DeMarco Murray. He is injury-prone man, and...
Injury-prone man. I like that phrase.
Injury-prone man. And I'm very flustered right now, but he played first time in 7 years.
And your Cowboys just keep picking up domestic violence abuser after another. What is going on?
He was accused of domestic violence by, I think, punching his baby mother's car window. And there's still like things like a trial or court going on with that. So it's crazy. It's a crazy week for Cowboys fans. But at least Des Bryant got franchised. Woohoo! That's like one positive thing out of his whole thing.
I really think that's what pushed DeMarco Murray to leave, because Des Bryant got it over him.
Yeah, but Des Bryant was annoyed. He goes to Michael Irvin. I heard there was like a phone call or something. He's like, what are the Cowboys doing? Why aren't they signing DeMarco Murray? What's in their minds? So Des Bryant was a little bit annoyed too about this whole situation that we didn't re-sign DeMarco Murray.
I'm interested to see what kind of talks they had back and forth, because
me too.
I'm sure that they spoke, and you know, because I did see a tweet from Des Bryant saying, wish he could have stayed, but
yeah, that was his boy.
Good luck. Yeah,
DeMarco Murray said like there was a very close clubhouse, like with Tony Romo, Jason Witten. Everybody got along. So you're saying all these positive things about the team, but it all comes down to money in the end. And I'm very angry at you, DeMarco Murray, because I felt like the Cowboys, with you on the team, and I felt like we could have had a chance of winning the Super Bowl this season. I know every season I say that. Come on. His running game, it was so on point.
That's one thing that he's going to have to
get,
because he's going from a team with Tony Romo to a team with Mark Sanchez. Granted, it's Mark Sanchez and Chip Kelly's system, which is a different. It's yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out and what other moves that. Because I have a feeling that Chip Kelly has something else up his sleeve, because he says he's not going to trade up for Mariota. I still think he might, so we'll see. Even though he said he wouldn't do it, but it'll be interesting to see how everything shakes out before the start of the next NFL season. So now we're going to give this another try. Last week we did the Where Are You Now segment.
Yes, we did.
We were going to give this one more try, see if we like it.
All right, fingers crossed. And guys, comments on our social media. Let us know what you think. Here we go.
Where are you now? 'Cause I'm thinking of you. You show me how to live like I do. If it wasn't for you, I would.
So that's our signal that you know from now on when we play that song.
Yes.
We're going into the Where Are They Now segment. So this is he's a bit of an interesting character.
Yes.
Sean Avery.
Yes, Shawnee boy.
So he played for, I believe, about 5 NHL teams: Detroit Red Wings, Los Angeles Kings, Dallas Stars, and
the New York Rangers,
yes.
baby.
He was known for his agitating playing style and controversial behavior, not only on the ice, in the locker room, but as well as off the ice. In his own personal life. Yeah, he was always a problem.
No, he was a problem.
But
oh
one thing you have to say, the Rangers always played considerably better when he was on the team.
No, they did, and he was an agitator, and John Tortorella hated him.
Oh my gosh.
The hatred he had for that man. But I feel like without us as fans, Sean Avery wouldn't have the reputation he has right now. I feel like we kept him in the NHL for as long as he was in the NHL with the New York Rangers. Remember when we brought him up?
Yeah,
The
back
fans
after
brought
he
him
went,
up.
yes.
Yeah, but like 2011, 2012 season. Without us, Sean Avery, you wouldn't be where you are today. Just saying right now.
And
you're
for not even,
welcome.
and because I think he played in New York, was a big contributor to what he's gone on since finishing in the NHL in 2012. He is kind of, it's not strange because a ton of people do this, but it's a strange for a hockey player. He actually interned with Vogue magazine. He was a model, and
yes, he is good looking though. He has the model structure.
And I think he has his own clothing line now, because I remember going to MSG one day and seeing like Sean Avery, like not jerseys or anything, just regular
just like
clothing. I was
Lundqvist.
like, whose are these? Why is
Yeah.
MSG not carrying jerseys right now? But it was because Sean Avery was launching his own clothing line. So, but he finished his 12-year career with a total of 90 goals, 270 points, over 1,500 penalty minutes, and 580
Sean.
games, which is like a lot. If you don't know hockey, that's a lot of penalty minutes.
That's and mainly because of fighting or doing something illegal or instigating something. And what I remember in the 2008 playoffs against the Devils, where the Sean Avery rule came up because Sean Avery was waving his stick in front of Marty Brodeur, which I thought was a genius move because it wasn't illegal.
It wasn't, but okay, so for some people who don't know how a lot of the strategy on power plays work, screening is a big tactic. So it's basically they put a player in front of the goalie to try and block his view of what's going on.
Yes.
So, but normally now, since the Sean Avery rule has been put into place, the person who is screening is supposed to face the play. So their back is facing the goalie.
Yeah.
Sean Avery, before this rule was put in,
around.
so his back is to the play, which is kind of dangerous, but nonetheless, it sprung into effect and created the Sean Avery
He was
rule.
waving his stick, and it was against Marty Brodeur, and we know how those two guys are best friends off the ice. We know how much they love each other, and it's crazy. And now there's actually a new Avery rule. He wants to like replace it with, because he sees how like a lot of NHL players are going into bankruptcy and like the money they're not handling correctly, and he wants like a new Avery rule. There's like a per diem spending money the team gives you, like per diem, like they don't give you like that $20,000 check. It's separated.
Okay. So it's paid over time.
Yeah, so they could, use their money wisely, which I think it was actually a smart idea. Like, good job, Avery, with that. But other than that, he's also gone into the restaurant industry. He's like a man.
I think
jack
he
of all
owns
trades.
2 restaurants in New York City.
Yeah, but I think one closed. I know, like he does Tiny's New York City with Henrik Lundqvist, but I think they bowed out of that investment. And then Warren 77.
Yes, Warren 77 I knew about.
Tiny's was with Lundqvist because they're best friends, and you see how Lundqvist is influenced by Avery's style. Did you see how he became like this fashionista, Henrik Lundqvist, after becoming friends with Avery? But Avery also, he is engaged to Hillary Rhoda, who is a model too.
And he's actually also been known for making comments about other NHL players dating his previous girlfriends, and that's always sparked a bunch of Pana from Toronto is one of the
Alicia, her name is, she's a Canadian actress, but she does like American shows too. Alicia
I don't know her name.
I don't know, but that was with Dion Phaneuf, his wife now. He's a very controversial player, and he's also an actor.
Yes, and he was on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh yeah,
he said he was kicked off because he had a conflict with the producer. Shocker there. He had a conflict in literally every profession he's pursued.
Yeah, while he was a day before he was about to make his off-Broadway debut of the show called Negative is Positive, he went on a rampage and started yelling at the stage manager because of pizza, because she asked him if he wanted pizza or something. I was reading this and I'm like, this guy, I think the hits to the head or the blows to the head while you were fighting did something up there, because he's just a crazy guy. Retiring. I don't know if Ranger fans remember this. Remember, he threw his skates into the Hudson River to signify.
I didn't even know
retirement.
that. Oh my gosh, that's like, so dramatic.
I retired, so I'm throwing my skates to symbolize that I am retired
Officially
from the
done.
NHL. I know. He's a drama queen. He's worse than I am.
But what? He's worse than I am. But some of the positive things he's done, besides throwing tantrums at every other professional setting he's been in, he's been a big activist for marriage equality, and he's been a big proponent of Athlete Ally, which is basically going into professional sports settings and making it comfortable for athletes to feel to come out with their sexuality if that is an issue for them.
Yes,
so he's very active in that. He's made tons of appearances and has done tons of awareness raising for this because he has a lot he said from living in LA and New York, he's developed a lot of fans from various sexual backgrounds. So he wants to make sure that they feel like that in the NHL. So that's the end of our. That was a good one. I think I like that one better than last
There's
week.
a good guy underneath all that equipment and stuff off the ice. Okay, so guys, guess what? We've all been waiting for. We're gonna be talking about New York Rangers hockey. Woohoo!
Finally, it's been 2 days since they played, and I feel like I'm going through withdrawal.
I'm dying slowly right now. I can't wait. Tomorrow they're versing the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yes,
and
that's
they're
a
at
big
home,
game.
which I'm very excited for that game because we shut them out the last time we saw them.
And that was an exciting overtime win with Derek Brassard winning the game, scoring the game-winning goal.
That was an awesome goal, and I think we spoke about that last time. But the Rangers right now are on a 5-game winning streak. But we lost another person.
Two people since we last spoke.
Oh, really?
Marty and Klein,
Kevin
because
Klein.
that happened, I think, the day after our show last week.
Yeah, so Kevin Klein has a shoulder injury, and I don't know. I didn't. Read
Klein is
anything
out
how
3 to 4 weeks with
3
an
to 4
upper
weeks?
body injury
And
that he
Sandwave.
suffered after playing against the Capitals. He blocked a shot.
Yeah. Oh, Ovechkin, you
Oh, it
know
was-
you're gonna get injured when you block Ovechkin's shot. Like, remember Callahan? No, never mind. That was Chara. That was Zdeno Chara. So either Zdeno Chara or Ovechkin don't block their shots. Just get out of the way because you know that's gonna hurt. And also Marty St. Louis got hurt the other game.
The lower body injury.
Yeah, he's gonna be out 10 to 14 days.
So at least all of these, with the exception of Klein. But in brighter news, we should probably mention this since it happened just before the show.
Yes.
Henrik Lundqvist has been cleared by all medical staff to start practicing with the team. And is expected and hopefully returning on March 24th. This is his first day.
The king is coming back, ladies and gentlemen. He will be back. Finally, we've been waiting for this news for so long. But do I really want the king to come back?
It's a great problem to be in. I think that for me is what I would want is if you have. We all know that Henrik Lundqvist has a tendency of coming off a little bit shaky at the beginning of the season and whatnot. And I just think that Cam Talbot's been playing so well. Do we want to risk taking him out and not securing the top seed in the division to play the wild card team? Yeah. Or do we want to get Henrik Lundqvist ready, even if it means sacrificing the top seed so that he's in full beast mode, standing on his head when the playoffs roll around?
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't.
It's a very strange thing.
I think when we clinch the playoff spot, then
but we're 9 games out of doing that. So that's pretty much. I think there's 14 games left, 14, 15 games.
Yeah, there's
remaining.
Not a lot of games left. Yeah, we are right now. We're 44, 17, and 7.
So there's just a few. There's a handful of games left.
There's like 82 games in the season. We have to do all the subtraction.
Yeah, no.
Right now, my brain is not.
I have
functioning.
to focus on the soundboard. I can't be doing math.
Yes. And also, last 16 starts, we gain a point in our last 16 starts. Actually, we're 12-1-3. So we've been on fire. And also, okay, Tanner Glass.
I knew you were gonna bring this up. I knew it.
I don't like this guy on the team, and I know a lot of Ranger fans feel the same exact way. I just can't stand him. So we should do a petition. James Shepard should be in every single game from now on because Tanner Glass, he hasn't scored a goal in over 350 games.
The only player on the New York Rangers, and you said one of the only players left in the NHL who has yet to score a goal this season.
Yes, so James Shepard, he scored his first goal as a New York Ranger last game against Florida, which I'm very happy. Great job. And also, Matt Hunwick scored his
first goal, yes.
First goal as a New York Ranger, which was awesome.
Because he hasn't been getting a lot. He's been being a healthy scratch for the past couple of games.
Yeah.
But whenever he plays, he comes down, he gives 100%. So it was nice to see him get the recognition. He ended up, I think, with the Broadway hat as well because he got the game-winning goal.
Yeah, he deserves that.
Yeah.
Since Kevin Klein is hurt, our other guys, their healthy scratches need to step up the games. But I see the schedule. Our last 2 games, they first Buffalo and Florida. It wasn't really that much of a...
That's true. That's also taken into consideration.
We had to win those 2 games. If we didn't win those games, then there kind of was a problem. I would think there would be a little bit of a problem if we didn't win those games. But we've been playing well. San Luis scored his 20th goal of the season, too. He has 20 goals, but now he's hurt. So he's started to produce. And when he produces, he gets hurt. But Cam Talbot, he was also named the 2nd star in the NHL this week.
Is it the 2nd week in a row? Or is it the past time in 3 weeks?
Last week he was 3rd star, and this week he's 2nd, so he's moving up. Maybe next week he'll be number 1.
Hopefully, because that means that they play against I think they have kind of a tough schedule coming up. They have Chicago, Then I think they have Anaheim this weekend.
Yeah.
And one other. So those are pretty, those are competitive Western teams.
Yeah, so Cam Talbot has to be on his game. No stupid brain farts with the puck and your puck handling. Please just stay in net and
just
be
play
prepared.
as he's been playing because he's been doing great.
Florida, the game against Florida, I didn't even. It was amazing.
I was studying because March is like a horrible midterm month.
I know professors need to look at the Rangers schedule
exactly.
before doing anything.
Please plan accordingly, Brooklyn College. Please.
Please. Plan he was honestly, I was amazed at the way he played that game because the Rangers were horrible. I thought they weren't to their full potential that whole entire game.
I can tell from my dad's reaction in the other room that they weren't playing that well because he kept screaming and but I kept on getting Twitter updates saying another great shot, a great block by Cam, like glove side, Cam Talbot. So he was obviously on fire.
Amazing because they were playing most of the game in the Ranger zone and it was horrible. But what I found funny about the game, do you know okay, I don't know if people think the same way I think, but you know how announcers, even with baseball announcers, football announcers, every time if your team's up by 1 run, 1 point, 1 anything, or they're going on the verge of like a shutout, they always have to bring it up that there's enough time left in the game. There's a lot of time. And Dave Maloney, since Joe Micheletti's on personal leave, Dave Maloney was also announcing the game with Sam Rosen, and Sam Rosen was going to bring up that the Rangers that there's a lot of time left in the game for Florida to score, right? And Dave Maloney just said, shush.
Because Sam Rosen is like the king of jinxing the Rangers.
Yes, it's just like Gary Cohen. Gary Cohen's the same exact way. Why? I know you have to fill airtime, announcers, but do not. I'm begging you.
Honestly, for hockey, you don't have to fill airtime. The game is way too fast.
I know, but also apparently has to fill in airtime and has to repeat a million times that, the Rangers are on the verge of another shutout. The Rangers have over 200 and whatever minutes of shutout hockey, and it's frustrating to me because I'm watching the game and I'm just getting so aggravated. Please, announcers, please don't say that.
just let the game play out. Save Kara the heart palpitations and don't jinx it.
Yes, please. I hate when they do that because usually and they scored. I remember and Florida scores as soon as he says it the next period.
And I also just think hockey fans are like really superstitious, so that probably is part of the reason.
I wear like the same pajamas when if they're on a winning streak. It's not like I'm not unhygienic or anything like that, but like it's like a thing that I have to do. Because, they're on a winning streak. You got to do the same thing until it's working.
I wear the same. If they win, I wear whatever I was wearing that day. If it was Rangers stuff. If it wasn't, I just don't. But
if I have to, I can face anything. I am strong. I am invincible. I am one.
So this is our first ever Women of the Week segment. March is Women's History Month, so we figured this is a perfect time to do it. So that song is I Am Women by Helen Reddy, and it was basically the anthem for Lisa Saxon while she was paving the way for various other women in her industry.
Yeah, she's an amazing woman. After reading this article
from Vice Sports.
Yeah, I have so much respect for her and how she paved the way for women in the locker room.
She was from 1983 to 1987. She was one of 3 women covering sports. So alongside of her was the Yankees beat Claire Smith, and Sacramento and Oakland A's beat writer Susan Fornoff. So these 3 ladies did a great deal of help cracking that glass ceiling in the sports world. But it was just really, I think, kind of an empowering read for us because she was so young when she started.
She was 17 years old, I think, right?
Yeah, 19 years old around that time.
Yeah, first year of college.
So, but she was around during a time when like sexual assault and sexual harassment wasn't a colloquial term. There was no procedures in place of how to act. So, and she did a lot of things where she couldn't go into locker rooms. She would have to get exclusive interviews outside of the stadium after all the reporters.
And players would just totally disrespect her. Like they wouldn't give her the time of day. Like during with the locker room and things like that. Like the male guys, they got all the inside scoop, and she really had to fight for those answers,
right? Because she couldn't even benefit off of somebody else's question. She would have to work for everything on her own. And a lot of the time, when you ask if you get an athlete after they already have gone through the whole press,
they don't want to be bothered.
Exactly, they're already tired from their game and drained. Especially if it was a loss, you think they want to recant that all over again. So, a lot of the time, she was on her own and getting most of it.
Yeah, but the athletes would abuse her too.
For sure.
Well, we have a call. Let's see if we could get it right this time.
Press the top button.
Hello?
I think we just dropped it.
Oh, sorry. If you want to call in again, please. But
Man, I thought we figured that out last time. Okay.
I don't know, but we're sorry. Please call
Sorry,
again.
caller. Please call back.
Yeah, but it was just frustrating. Me reading this, I was getting frustrated because I don't think a woman should be treated the way she was treated in the locker room.
I totally agree, and I'm so glad that things have become much more, it's more normal for athletes to see women in the locker room, and thank God for us, because now we have there are certain principles in place. There's guidelines that need to be met, that things can and cannot be done. So, and actually, the most interesting part of this article was kind of alluding to her relationship with Reggie Jackson.
Oh, I can't stand Reggie Jackson.
And it was funny because comparing our scripts before the show, we had very very similar names attached to Reggie Jackson as like a pointers to hit on too. But basically, he was just very abusive to her. Would wish death upon her. Would just be very rude. Would often make fun of the way she was dressed, the way she was carrying herself, just everything,
and vulgar remarks too. It was just. I really lost respect for him as a player.
And the most messed up part is that when
it was time to be in the Hall of Fame ballot, and he wanted the votes. He actually wanted a clean sweep. He wanted 100% of the votes. He goes up to her, and he wants to make amends and everything like that. But she wouldn't do it because there was an ulterior motive behind that, because he wanted the vote from her.
And all power to you, because that is honestly crazy. But in light of all the men who did treat her badly, there were a ton of men in the field who did help her out and give her, after days where she would get down because of things that had been said, who would come and back her up and say that she's doing a great thing. And I think, Kara, you were telling me about a specific quote from
Vince Scully. They had a conversation on one of the bus rides home, and Lisa Saxon, she was saying how she wants to be the next. I forgot what announcer it was, but she wanted to be that next person. And Vince Scully's like, no, you want to be the next you, because they already have that person, that announcer. And I thought, I don't know, that what he said resonated with me, because you want to be the best you could be. You don't want to be that other person. Right. And I don't know, Vince Scully, he's the man. They have a very great relationship, Lisa and Vin, and he treated her well during the time that she was reporting. And she still reports now, I think. Yeah, right? I think she does here and there. And I think at the end of the article, she talked about going back to the LA market where she did so much of her work, and then that was actually when she felt the impact of what she had done, because so many people had recognized her, and she had realized how far women in sports have gotten because she didn't have to go through anything she had to go through when she had first started. There was so much going. Like, you guys, we're going to post this article on our social media sites. Right, so definitely it's a long read, but it's worth it. It is, honestly, it's worth it. It really got, it got me so angry. Well, what she went through, and thank you so much, Lisa Saxon, for having the guts and keep moving on, because that was awesome. Yes. She's really someone to, we admire you. Thank you, Lisa. I'm glad we got to open up the segment with her as our first person. Yes, because well deserving. And also, which I found which was amazing, she was the first person to interview Bill Buckner after that iconic play in Mets history. Yes, Lisa, good job, girl. that was great. Oh, Lisa. So another Tuesday has gone by. I know. And another week of exciting Rangers games ahead. Thank you so much for listening to Throw Like a Girl Radio, WBCR's first all-female sports talk show. I'm Alyssa Paolicelli. And I'm KaraAnne Galante. And we will be back same time, same place next Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. Let us know what you think about our show on our social media outlets, facebook.com/ThrowLikeAGirlRadio, Twitter @ThrowLikeA_girl, and Instagram, ThrowLikeAGirlRadio, all one word. Have a great St. Patrick's Day. Yes. And also, on Sundays, tune into Garbage Time with Katie Nolan at Fox Sports 1 at 9:30. Oh, right. We should quickly talk about that. Katie Nolan, our first caller on the show, and I'm sorry to the second caller that we couldn't figure out again how to. I think I put you on hold by accident by clicking a button, but I'm really sorry. But Katie Nolan, I thought the show was good. And it's going to get better. And she's going to get better because it was the first show. So very excited to see that. Her progress in that, so and I hope that she's successful. Tune in. Yeah, please tune into Fox Sports 1 at 9:30 on Sunday nights. On Sunday nights, yes, please, because she needs a bunch of support, and we love to give it to her. So great job, Katie Nolan, on your first episode.
Yay! So again, don't forget to come back next week, Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. Like I said, happy St. Patrick's Day, and let's go Rangers.
Yes.